Hey guys, Texas Tiff here. So what have you heard about all the things in the news with these proposed changes on agreements and commissions for buying a home? The biggest change in real estate in over 100 years is about to come down the pipeline starting in about July of 2024. I'm going to walk you through what those proposed changes are right now. So I'm sure you've heard all the headlines and seen all the videos and the memes on TikTok. The 6% commission on buying and selling is gone. Realtor group agrees to slash and axe 6% commissions. Sellers aren't going to have to pay buyer commissions anymore. It's craziness. So let me explain what's actually going on. So national antitrust lawsuits are actually really rare, but this particular one is going to affect buyers and sellers for generations to come. Where did this even come from? What started this whole thing? So it started about, 5 years ago, about 2018. A real estate attorney, not a realtor, a real estate attorney, who charges a flat rate to write a contract, decided that he needed to take it upon himself to change the industry. Well, here we are. So the heart of this whole thing is about transparency. And I'm okay with that. I understand why we need this transparency. The concern is that buyers' agents are receiving a 3% commission from the seller, and the perception is that that price has been fixed or that the government has mandated that fee. That is not true. So what is the truth? The truth is, commissions have always been negotiable. So honestly, this lawsuit, pretty much a big nothing burger. Let me explain. The word that you're gonna hear, that you're gonna see is agency. It means absolutely nothing to you guys. Most realtors can't even explain what it means. We learned it in real estate school. We don't ever use it again. Nobody cares. Basically, it's everyone's role in the transaction. Your buyer's agent, your seller's agent, the title company, all of those things, and how they're going to get paid. So this is kind of how my process has gone until now. I have a client that calls me and says, hey, Tiff, we want to see this property. Awesome, let's meet. I'll either meet them there, or sometimes I'll take you to breakfast or dinner or whatever, just so we can get to know each other. But I'm gonna walk in with my buyer's binder and I'm gonna walk you through the entire process from start to finish on what this is gonna look like, okay? One of the documents is talking about agency, how we get paid, what my role is as your agent. And then I have some of the other documents in here as well. But what I will typically say in that moment is, you're not signing anything today, we're not getting married, we're just dating. I want this to work well. I'm gonna get them attached to a lender, send them some lender referrals, have them get their pre-approval. Let's go find your house. Then when we're ready to write a contract on this home that they finally found, right? We've been looking for months. Now we're gonna sign all those documents that the National Board in Texas requires, that my broker requires, all those documents. So that's worked okay. But a few things have changed now. So these documents, mainly the buyer's representation agreement, is what's kind of under scrutiny right now. That allows me to work on your behalf, and it clearly states what my role is and what my broker is going to be paid in exchange for my assistance. This contract is actually with the brokerage, not just with me as the agent, okay? But have you ever met your agent's broker? Have you ever been to your agent's brokerage? Probably not. Mine's really cool. I'd love to take you sometime. But you're trusting me that I'm going to represent you and that I'm going to have your best interests at heart. My brokerage has trained me to negotiate over 24 terms and conditions on a buyer's contract to make sure that it's going to benefit you as the client. And in return, there's going to be compensation to the brokerage that will then be split between myself and the brokerage. That's something totally separate that you don't even have to deal with. So what's changing? What's the big fuss? So in that buyer's representation agreement on section 11, it says, it has a blank for us to put a percentage there. Most agents will put 3%. It's just kind of been the standard, but it is negotiable, okay? Some will put more, some will put less. Here's what I want you to know. Whatever's written in that blank is what will be paid to the brokerage at the end of the transaction. What I have done up until now is I've actually put a 0 there, because whatever I'm getting paid is whatever the listing is agreeing to pay. If it says 3% and the home that you want to buy is only paying 2%, I'm not making my buyer have to come back and pay the difference. This is all changing now. So the new rules are standardizing that price that a listing is willing to pay is no longer allowed to be put in the MLS. So we don't have access to that. We can't see that. They are going to be changing that and adding a seller concession amount. So a seller can say, we're willing to give $10,000 in concessions or whatever that number might be. And then you as a buyer can use that as your agent's commission. You can use that for repairs. You can use that for closing costs. That's going to be up to you. So what's unfortunate about the reason behind this is there are some very unethical agents out there who have only shown their buyers properties that are willing to pay that 3%. I've never done that, would never do that. But that's kind of part of why we're here. And then we're coming back to the biggie. This is the one that's probably going to be the most difficult for me anyway. We are now going to be required, should this pass, which we all believe it probably will, we are going to be required for you as the buyer to sign that buyer's rep agreement before I can even open a door for you. We went from let's date, let's get to know each other, to let's get married and have a prenup before I even open a door. That's not something that is what we've chosen. This is what is kind of rolling out right now. So why is everybody freaking out about this? Okay, the media loves a train wreck. We all know this, right? They love adding mystery and intrigue, and especially false information. Shocker, right? To stir up that fear and get people freaking out. Because what? It gives them more views, right? What about our first-time home buyers? They're freaking out because they're saying, how am I going to be able to afford to pay my down payment and my closing costs? And now I've got to pay a buyer's agent on top of that? I don't understand. Well, guess what? As the buyer, you've always paid the commissions. If you don't have a buyer, you don't have a closing. You don't have a sale. You're the one bringing the money to the table. It's just all in how it's going to be distributed, okay? And a really great agent is going to help you navigate that. They should be helping you now, and they're going to continue helping you in the future. There's a lot of lazy and unprofessional realtors out there, and I hate it because it makes all of us look bad. But they are used to showing up, opening a door, and getting their 3% at closing. Guess what? They're not going to last in this industry anymore. I believe that in the next 2 years, we're going to see a huge exit of realtors from this industry, because you're going to have to work. You're going to have to put in the work, and it's not easy, you guys. There's actually an article that I have that was put out by Texas Real Estate Commission that talks about in 2021. Now, y'all remember the crazy market we had in 2021, right? We're all bidding over and fighting for homes. It was insanity. The median net income in 2021 with realtors, $30,000. That's before taxes, y'all. Now, I looked that up for this year, the last year. It's up to about $45,000. We're not talking crazy money here. There are, and this is 1/3 of members netted less than $10,000, and then 13% netted $100,000 or more. So you have to keep in mind too where all those funds are going. We're paying for all of our own health insurance. We're self-employed. All of these things are all coming out of our own pocket. So I know that number looks big when you see it on the disclosures. Don't panic. We can explain everything. But that's where this is all coming from. There needs to be transparency, and I'm okay with that. Because guess what? We need to be applying to be your agent now. If you want to hire me, you need to know my credentials. You need to know what I'm going to do to help you win, to find your next home. Can you find your home on your own? How many of my clients call me and say, hey, I found this on Zillow? First of all, where do you think Zillow gets their information? Yeah, we put it in. We pay for that to put it into the MLS. But you call and say, hey, I found a house. Let's go buy it. That's not the end of the process. There's more involved, right? There's a contract that comes after that. There's so much more, and I'm going to be here to walk you through that. I want to make sure that all of your documents are done correctly, that all your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted. And then even after your closing, I've got resources and contractors. Most of my clients call me afterwards. Hey, Tiff, can you help me find someone to mow my lawn? Can you help me to have someone come help me with some drainage issues? I've got people that I love to send, love to refer. But just like you're negotiating for a new job, you're going to be negotiating. We're going to negotiate the compensation for my knowledge and my skills just like you would if you were hiring a new employee. We need to be able to prove to you that I'm going to help you save money, and I'm going to protect you on all the aspects, all the legal aspects and everything else from the very beginning to the very end. So if you've made it this far, I would love to apply for the position as your realtor. And I'm not going to be the right fit for everyone. Not everybody loves my crazy antics and all the extra stuff that I do for my clients. That's okay, because there's always going to be someone willing to work cheaper. But you will be hard pressed to find anyone who's going to work harder than me on your behalf. I'm Texas Tiff, and I would love to be your realtor.